Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Vlog. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I am really happy to bring you from Heartfelt Creations the Calla Lily stamps, cutting dies, and mold. And with these tools you can make the most incredible 3D flowers. Here's a card that my friend Debbie made. You can see it's got these amazing 3D leaves and 3D calla lilies that you can make in any color combination that you'd like. Let me first, before we get back to this card, go through and show you what is in each one of these containers here. Of course, I can peel the back off and get this out. So the stamp set, here we go. So this has 3 pieces, okay? It's actually 5 stamps, but done in 3 pieces. And then you've got the cutting dies that coordinate with that. I love that they're all paired up, so you still cut the 3 pieces, they're aligned perfectly with the stamps, and then the small and larger leaf. And then you've got this one. Let me just take this one I have out here. This is the mold, and this is the trick that makes it different from all the other products out there for flower making. The mold, you go ahead and put your die cut cardstocks and papers in there, and they come out perfectly sculpted and molded, so you don't have to worry about using a stylus to do that. All right, let's get back to Debbie's card here. What I should mention is that she used Spice Market paper pack from hot off the press here, these wonderful Heart Dazzle stickers, and she also used a 3D frame die cut card from hot off the press. So let's get right in and figure out how she made this. So the first thing Debbie did was stamp the actual calla lily blossoms, and she used the water reactive seal brown stamp ink pad rather. This is the Harmony from Spectrum Noir. It's water. It's that happens to be water reactive. We are going to mist the back side of these before we put them in the mold, but it won't affect that at all. So she was just using it for the color, not the properties. And also did on the leaf, she just stamped that with just a blue ink as well, and I think that was from the blue Cat Eye Q that you can get on paperwishes.com. All right, so she's gone ahead and she's done that, and then she's done some coloring. So let's see. Let's do some coloring first on these beautiful calla lilies. Now you can use the blender brushes on these, which is just a wonderful product. And first she said she did a little bit of green down at the base of each one. Okay. And then she switched over and did some yellow. This is from the green and yellow Cat Eye Q, which is just so handy to have those colors, highly pigmented colors, all in one little stack there. And I like to color these. You can color them before or after you cut them out. It's kind of handy to do them like this for now, but I might have to touch them up a little bit after we cut them out. We'll see. You also don't have to stay in the lines because we're going to be using the cutting dies are so like right there close up to the edges. I'm going to put a little bit more green on there. Kind of faded. I overdid it with my yellow. Okay, so, and then on the leaves, she did the same and just went back and stamped those with the green, stamped them with blue rather, and then used some kind of lime green ink here. Okay. All right, now, then use the cutting dies that coordinate perfectly. And what's great about these is they just line right up. Okay, and then we just like to take a little bit of stencil tape. You can use washi tape too, just to keep that in place. And then the same with the small leaf. I think she used a small and a large, so we'll just do the small here. Okay, and that's going to align like that. Okay, you run them through your die cutting machine, and bang, they are done. Okay. Now we get to use the mold. All right. So you're just going to take these and you're going to put them upside down in the corresponding molds. Okay, there's only one small leaf mold, so we'll do that one later. And then you just take some clean water and a mister and just give that a little bit of a spritz just to moisten it a little bit. You don't want it wet, really. Now the inside of this mold has these little alignment pegs, okay, so that you can just line everything up. You don't have to figure out which direction it's all going in. All right, so then you're going to take your die cutting machine. You do not need to have the platform in here. I like to just take it and put it between my plates, my well-loved plates. And then I'm just going to crank that right through. And it feels like there's like no resistance at all. There's just nothing happening here. I run it through a couple times back and forth, but it's amazing that extra, just that little squeeze that's happening from your machine. Now we're going to open this up. There we go. Oops. There we go. And our leaf is already beautifully embossed in the back there. And the calla lily blossoms are done as well. So what do we do with them from here, Lene? Okay, let me show you. Get rid of all this. Okay, so once we get to this part, then there's one more little fun step I want to show you how to do, which is the little stamen that's inside here. You can buy elongated stamens specifically for the calla lilies, but Debbie and I thought, well, we already had, where are they? These great, oh, they're there, these great stamens at Paper Wishes, but how to make them a little bigger and this kind of fuzzy yellow. So what we did was we took some of the white ones, we just went ahead and cut off, oh, here's one, cut off one of these little pearl ones, and then you just take a little bit of glue, and this is just the Cosmic Shimmer. As you can see, I like to keep a paper clip in mind to keep that free of clog. And then you take, this is the yellow pollen, which you can also get at Paper Wishes, and we're just going to tap out a little bit of this. We really like being able to like have products have more than one purpose. So instead of carrying a whole nother line of stamens, we thought we'll just alter the ones that we have. And you can too. All right, so you're going to cover this little guy in glue, but you want to get glue way down on the stem as well. Okay, and then you're just going to roll that, making sure that you're covering the stem as well. All right, there you go. That's going to be your little calla lily stamen. All right, so I've got one right here already dry. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do the smaller one here. So now that you've got your cardstock calla lily, you're just going to do a little bit of a pinch. And I find at this point it's nice to just use some hot glue gun. I think Debbie used the Cosmic Shimmer acrylic specialist acrylic glue, and you could use either, but because I'm on a video here and we need to speed things up, we're going to use hot glue. And I'm just going to put a little bit at the base of calla lily. Place the stamen right in there. You want to get it kind of up high enough so that you're going to see that. And then you're just going to take a little bit of a pinch. Now, because I'm using hot glue, I could use some tweezers. And we're just going to be doing a little bit of a pinch and a turn like that. Oops, I went up a little high. There we go. And then you can just trim off the rest of that stamen. We don't need that. And that's the process that Debbie used, just layering, also layering the leaves and then those little blossoms as well. All right, so that's how you do it with cardstock. And I'm also going to show you how to make calla lilies using foam. On this card, I used foam to make my calla lilies. So as you can see, brightly colored, lots of dimension. Let me show you how to do this. Oh, before I should also mention this paper on the background. This is from a brand new paper pack from hot off the press, and it's called Lace and Roses, and it even comes with this little label greeting. And if you can peek on the side of it, it has roses down the side of the label, but my card had calla lilies on it, so I didn't want to feature the roses, so I just did my calla lilies right down the side of the label. So that's something you can remember when you're using the little cutout labels in any of our paper packs. All right, so the foam that I used to make my calla lilies was also from Heartfelt Creations. This is Art Foam Paper 10 pack. It has 10 8.5 by 11 sheets. And when you're using foam, because it's plastic, I like to use Stays-On ink pads. And it's a solvent ink pad, it's permanent, it's not going to smudge off once you have used it. It will, of course, get on your hands when you are working with it, so you'll want to use special Stays-On remover. Also rubbing alcohol works to take it off. So I use the fuchsia pink, and this one has got a smudge on it, but I believe it's mustard, and then also blazing red. So let me show you how I did this. So first of all, I'm going to need my stamping platform. So I've got my MISTI and a piece of foam. Now, because the stamps are these cling thick rubber stamps, I'm going to take out the insert from my MISTI. Oops. And I'm just going to, place my foam, attach that. I am going to ink with my image with the red first. And that's because I want it to really show up those little veins and lines through the pink. So we're going to use bright flaming red. Okay, there we go. Okay, that out of the way. All right, so once we have got to this point, then we're going to place our die cuts there, and then once those are cut out, it's time to ink them. Now this one is dry, so I'm going to, this one had a little extra time for that solvent ink to dry. You can use the blender brushes with the Stays-On and clean them with Stays-On remover or rubbing alcohol, but I don't want to take time to do that right now because I'd used mine. So we're just going to go ahead and use the good old-fashioned stylus with the foam pads on them. So we take the fuchsia, well actually, no, I'm going to take the yellow mustard first, and we're going to do a little bright yellow base on here. Okay, and then we're going to switch to the pink. Just sort of dabbing on that color because I want to keep that yellow. And then when I get the pink on, then we're going to do a little bit of blending here. Okay. Blend that yellow right into the pink. All right, so there we go. Ooh, that looks really blotchy. Doesn't look quite as blotchy down here. When I looked in the camera, it's like, yikes. There we go. That's a little better. All right, so I've used all three colors. Then I'm going to die cut those. And then what I got was these pieces here. Now on my card, when we're dealing with the leaves, I like to do my leaves because we're not going to put these foam pieces through the mold, okay? So really all you're going to be using here are the stamps and the cutting dies on the foam, and then we're going to do a process on the foam. So I wanted the detail on the leaves, so I went ahead and did those from cardstock, Okay, did the same process I did on the first card, on Debbie's card, where I stamped them green, colored them green, and then put them through the mold and the die cutting machine. That whole process is the same with the leaves, okay? But in dealing with the flowers, there's actually two things you can do to work with foam and to get some shrinkage that you want and some forming that you want. I should also mention I colored the back. So after I die cut them, I colored the backs pink as well. So there's two things you can do here. You can use your heat gun, okay? And I'm going to do a heat gun process so that you can see that, but you can also use a hot iron, like your clothing iron. All right, so we're going to do this one first. I'm going to turn it on hot. Just going to use my little tweezers here to hold on. And you'll notice that it's going to heat up and it's going to shrink a little bit. Woo. And they're going to start to curl. There it goes. All right. Ooh, everything's blowing away. So when it gets to this point right here, a couple of things that you can do. You can take some stylus, like the ball stylus that I have right here, okay, and the ball stylus pad. I'm putting things down today, and then I'm not sure where I'm putting them. All right, well, I don't remember where my ball pad is, so I'm going to improvise and use my Misty insert pad. All right, so you can take that at this point. You can use this ball pad to actually shape the foam, or you can take your fingers and do a little pulling here and a little pulling here. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of curving those edges up, okay? That's what I'm going for, that look. All right, so at that point, that's one way to do the heating and the curling. The other way is to take your iron from home, okay? And you take, this is really cool, I like this part. So you take the foam, and you just lay it right on your iron, okay? And then you're gonna see that it's gonna bow up. It's gonna like, there we go. You can see it kind of bowing. And then when it's bowing, you just pull it right off. And I did some experimenting. What temperature does your iron need to be on? Mine was on cotton setting, it was on a very high setting. I also did the same technique on a medium setting. Low setting, it took a little longer, okay? So then, same thing, you've got it heated, and you're just gonna do that little process of curving it. Now, the foam is heat reactive, so when you're using it like this, when it's just die cut, it's not gonna keep its shape, okay? But when you heat it, the properties of the foam change so that you can mold it and shape it, okay? So that's just a really fun thing. So we have our two here. These are two different sizes, of course, but one is done this way with the heat gun and one is done this one with the iron. So you can see the iron has a little bit more of a symmetrical formation to it. So I'm gonna use this one. I think they're both great. Now I'm going to take one of my little stamens with the little yellow pollen on it. I'm going to take my glue gun, put a little bit of glue right here. Kind of the same process as with the cardstock one. All right, so now you're going to do this little folding. Be careful because you're using your hot glue. Use a little pair of tweezers, and you're going to fold one side, and then you're going to fold the other side. So you're doing a little bit of a pinch. I just put this down. There we go. I like to kind of overlap the base of it a little bit. And this is a little different from the kind that Debbie did where, there we go, where they were more open. So mine are a little bit more closed. Just a different look. Whoops, sorry, I was off camera there. Okay, so as you can see, right here, mine are kind of overlapped a little tiny bit. All right, so here, we're just putting down the molded leaves that I used with the mold, just like I did on the first card. And then just starting from the bottom, I just started hot gluing some of these blossoms from here and just tucking them behind the first ones all the way up to the top. Then I just added some little crystals from a pack of crystals, which I can't remember the name of right now, and then a little yellow polka dot ribbon for a little whimsy. So as you can see, these heartfelt creations, 3D calla lilies, are just really versatile. You can use them out of the foam, you can use them out of cardstock, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun experimenting with those. We have a great money saver on, let me grab these, on the dies and the stamps and the mold, and mine are in all kinds of condition here. Here we go. Check that out. There's a link to that on the vlog page. And if you're watching us on YouTube, the link is in the description below, as well as a link to paperwishes.com, where you can check out lots more videos and tutorials and all kinds of goodies. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.